You know, I think having a big imagination helps, you know, sort of like having a better life basically, you know, and you think like every year it goes by, it gets bigger,
Yeah.
bigger,
Mm.
it grows,
Yeah.
you know, but I think you gotta, it's no good staying in a cave every day, do you know what I mean? You know, and I think like people need to love their own imagination a bit more. You know, I think like because they're not really there frustrated in life, a lot of people.
A lot of people.
I can understand it, you know, the price of living's going up, right? They might be in jobs they don't really like, whatever, and so on and so on, you know, and they're not getting enough sleep. You know, so they've got, you know, a lot of people don't get time to use their own imagination, to be honest with you, do you know what I mean? You know, they got to give it up really. When you're at work, you can't start daydreaming things and doing what you want, do you know what I mean? Or start painting,
No.
you know.
Randomly.
No, you know, you're at work, do you know what I mean? And you belong to someone else basically, you know, and you've got to do what you're told.
They're paying you for your time.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what it is. It's a currency exchange. They're paying you literally for your time.
But like,
and your work, your physical, you know, to do your job.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, you might be lucky that you are in a job that you can daydream.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I used to do removals, you know, and it's not, I mean, once I was on the removal, doing the removal for people working, I could sing, I could whistle a little bit, you know, I could dance along with a box in my hand, whatever. But there's some, you know, or when I, you know, on the way home, I could daydream, you know, but there's a lot of jobs that you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not free, you've got to focus on what you're doing or whatever, you know. And all day long, you know, and if you lose your focus, you'll get wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't really sort of like, at times lay down, dream of something, like even making a film up, making a movie up or anything like that. You know, a lot of people haven't got time to do that.
No.
You know, and it's really important to enjoy the moment, really, if you can. I know it's difficult, and live the moment. And dream in the moment, you know, like if you're stuck in the past with something, and which I've done before, you know, and you're thinking round in circles about something, you're not really sort of like moving forward in life, if you see what I mean, you know, in your own life, you know, and I think like it's really important really for people to start falling in love with their own imagination and start using it a bit more, because I think it's part of the purpose of life really, to use your own imagination really, you know. But a lot of people are, I can understand it, you know, they can't, you know, they sleep, they wake up, they go to work, come home, dinner, sleep.
Yeah. Same routine.
Yeah, and they can't, you know, they might get a time to have a few minutes sort of daydream or something about something, you know, but you know, I think it's important to daydream, not just only to, you know, like to focus on the future, your own future, you know, that's why it's so important really, sort of meditation, daydreaming really. And I don't think a lot of people just do not get time to do it, or they're stuck in a rut, or they're not keeping up with life, they're getting behind it, you know, or they're falling in love with their things, for goodness sake, you know, not here forever, you're going to leave all your things behind. You know, like I said, I had a beautiful house, beautiful beds, beautiful everything, alright, quite nice carpets, everything, yeah. I lost it all. Lost the garden, lost the sunbed, everything, you know, swimming pool, everything, lost everything. You know, and I think it was like dying.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was like, dying. You know, because, you know, I felt like I was living in heaven, you know, when I went to Canary Wharf in a funny way, you know, away from my children, you know. And so I kind of like experienced death before in a funny way, you know. It's like being alive, experiencing your own family dying on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you loved.
Yeah.
You know, so it's sort of like, it feels like, you know, I feel like I've experienced death, being alive. But, like I say, what don't kill you makes you stronger, you see.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of whatever has happened to my experience has helped me to understand what love actually is in a way, you know, and even study it in my own mind a bit, you know, because I couldn't understand why my wife suddenly met somebody else and wanted all over. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't work it out, you know. It confused me completely for a number of years, you know. But today I look back, you know, because it's a long way back now, I suppose, you know, I kind of understand it a bit more.
Yeah.
You know?
Where things kind of went wrong and...
Yeah, and I'm glad I've got the life I've got today in a funny way, you know. I'm quite happy that, you know, I'm pleased that it's happened.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't happy at all at first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, for a number of years, you know. And like say, happiness, we were talking about that, you know, and, you know, happiness is very important.
Yeah,
as well as love.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, love is strength, isn't it? I don't feel like if you didn't love anything anymore in the world, it's like you want to die.
Yeah.
In a kind of way.
Giving up on life.
Well, if you don't love anything, right, including yourself, I feel like you might as well commit suicide in a funny way, you know. And it's not a very nice thing to say, but it's true.
We're not advocating
we're not
advocating that.
Well, that's why I'm saying it's really important that you must love yourself, forgive yourself as well. You know, because we all make mistakes here, you know, and even I have sometimes, you know, in my life, big ones, you know, and I realise that I just forgive myself because I know that I didn't know better back then in a kind of way, you know, and I do now.
Yeah.
If you sort of mean.
Yeah.
You know, and be proud of yourself as well, you know, and be proud that you're trying. Be proud that you don't lie in life. And be proud of yourself that you tell the truth every day, you know.
Yeah.
And all those kind of things, you know.
Yeah, striving to be a better person.
And try to, I try to give out love when I go out there too, you know, to the worldwide, even though I don't know anyone, you know. Even if someone's rude to me, I still try to love them.
Same.
You know what I mean? I kind of forgive them, you know.
Like even last time I was in the supermarket, someone was a bit rude in the supermarket, you know what I mean? Like trying to literally almost push me out of the way kind of thing, trying to go past and even say excuse me, nothing, you know what I mean? Almost literally, I was with my daughter as well. And I just kind of looked at them and I just, you know, she started, you know, giving me a look and started ranting and I just say, you know what? You have a nice day, okay? You have a really nice day, I'm off. You know what I mean? She kind of looked at me, you know what I mean? I said, you know, I just thought I'm not going to allow you to, you know. What she did was really rude and really impolite because like all she had to do was wait for the person that was coming the other way with the basket to go, you know, go past me, you know what I mean? And she'll be able to go past, but she wanted to push through, if you see what I mean. She almost knocked me over. And I, you know, I just said, you know, just you have a nice day, love. You know what I mean? And just, you know, left her to it. You know, she just kind of stood there, kind of frozen, you know, not knowing, you know, didn't really know what to say, you know what I mean? You know, grab my, you know, said to my daughter, let's go, you know.
I don't really see many rude people, but when I do, it just make me laugh in a funny way when they're rude to me or whatever, you know, for any reason, you know, because I think they're just not educated.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to think about them.
Sometimes people are looking for confrontation and shit. People want like an argument and shit, and when you don't give them what they're looking for, it kind of takes them aback. They don't know what to do. You know, they're kind of like, you know. Yeah.
I think everyone's
gobsmacked, as they say in the UK. Gobsmacked. You know, they don't know what to say. You know.
I think everyone's lovely, really, right? But you know, like I said, a lot of people are just not educated on what love is.
Yeah.
In a kind of way, you know. Like sometimes it takes the hard way to learn what love is. Like I said, I learned the hard way, you know. Like I fell in love with a woman, gave my heart to her, my whole heart, and I lost that. And I think, like, thinking about it, you know, I don't think people should give their whole heart to their loved ones in a funny way, you know. I think it's partly my mistake in the kind of way, you know, give my whole heart away to someone, if you would be.
Yeah.
You know, I think you've got to love yourself, look after yourself, and that will make you strong to love other people.
Yeah.
You know, and the more you kind of like look after yourself in a way, you know, and care about yourself, the better person I think you can be to everyone else out there. You know, and make sure you don't harm anyone either in any way, you know, whether it's verbally or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Don't to me, I just want to enjoy every day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and have a beautiful day, the most nicest day I possibly can. So like tomorrow is going to be a good memory. You know, and that's, I'm kind of making my past beautiful now, painting it in a kind of way. You know, like I know yesterday I had quite a lovely day. You know, I didn't have one swear word yesterday. Do you know what I mean? You know, I had a lovely day, only because I was in a good mood. And I think that's really partly really what people need to be in more, if they can, is in a good mood.
Yeah.
You know, a lovely mood, if you see what I mean.
Start remembering that life is the blessing.
Yeah.
And as long as you wake up and you've got another chance at life, everything is good. You know?
Well, not everything.
Not everything, but you know.
So I don't, you know, like I find it a bit scary that all the birds are disappearing really slowly, you know, and I'm thinking like even in 2 years' time, say, there might not be many birds left at all. Do you know what I mean? They're going to be a bit rare to see, if you see what I mean. That's what it's getting like. You know what I mean?
I know, but I mean, you know, as humans, you know, I think people forget that a lot of people complain too much. A lot of people are ungrateful.
Yes, true, very true.
Are ungrateful that you know we're alive. You know, you wake up. Some people wake up and they're just miserable for the sake of being miserable, but they've got a roof over their head. You know, they've got food in their cupboards and their bills are paid, and it's still bloody miserable. You know, still, you know, moaning and groaning and carrying on. It's
I think some people.
You know, someone's loved one didn't wake up this morning. It's like, you know, you woke up, you got another chance at life. Just make the most of it. You know, just try and enjoy your day. You know.
So some people actually enjoy moaning.
It's just like it might not be ideal. You know, everything in your life might not be ideal, but whose life is ideal? Not many people's. You know, so not everything. You know, everything. You know, nothing is perfect. Nothing is flawless. You know, so you know.
I think we've all got different loves as well, you know, like some people love cricket, some people love football, some people, you know, it's just and I don't think people should love that in a kind of way, you know, like it's invented, you know what I mean, but you can imagine sort of like going back in time a bit, like all these things weren't invented in a kind of way and people had more time for each other in a way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can remember when I was younger, like 9, 8, I lived with my nan and granddad, and they had a number of children. I was with my cousins, loads of them, you know, like Michelle, Debbie, you know, and we used to have good fun. And in those days, there just weren't many cars on the road. You know, actually, we sort of like, when we did see a car, we'd all go out to the front gate and see it.
Yeah.
You know, they were very rare. But today, there is like 1,000 times more cars everywhere, you know, it's like, whoo. Like a, you know, I've seen it grow, you know, you know, in the last 40 decades in kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
And even the roads are big now, you know, and whatever. And it's, you know, you think about how much money we spend on roads every year, you know, how seriously we take the motor car in kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
And how it's destroying nature.
Yeah.
In a big way. You know. Like I say, there used to be lots and lots of ants around when I was little, but there are not many around today. Very rare. So that is saying something, isn't it, really, you know?
Well, humans have been destroying nature for a long time now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's got to the point now too where the earth is suffering because of it. Because of mankind's kind of negligence and lack of, you know, human beings were designed to, this planet is designed, you know, we're supposed to be working in kind of like in coordination with the planet, if you see what I mean, and with nature, you know, looking after it and, you know, taking care of it and, you know, and respecting it, you know, it's here for us, you know, it's been provided for us to, you know, this is a place where, you know, we want a place obviously that's habitable. We want a planet that's habitable and livable on for the future generations, if you see what I mean, you know. But the world that we live in today is crazy because if you think about it, you know, people are talking about all sorts of shit today, you know, and it's just like, if any of these things do actually happen, you know, the world would be destroyed in such a significant way that you just kind of think, God, what kind of future will there be, if you see what I mean, for the next generation, you know? It's, you know, so that's why I think, going back to like we're talking about tonight, love is so important, you know? People need to learn to work together, you know? We're not stupid, you know? We're all, a lot of people, most people are quite intelligent human beings, and, you know, having a conversation can fix a lot of things, you know? You know, sometimes people think they have differences, and then when they get in a room and have conversations, they realise that they're not as different as they thought they were initially. You know what I mean? Just through having a conversation, realising, you know, breaking the barriers down. Sometimes people have preconceived notions and preconceived ideas of people, and prejudgments, misconceptions of people, because of what they've heard, or what they've, you know, or someone said, or whatever, you know what I mean? But when they actually have a conversation with that person, it can completely, you know, change their mind, you know, about that person, you know? So, yeah, love is required, you know? So, yeah.
I think, like, you know, like, love is really sort of like intelligence. Like learning, you know, if you love yourself, if you've learned how to love yourself,
yeah,
and you've learned to love everyone else,
yeah,
you must be intelligent.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
You know, if you learned those two things, I think you've learned how to be wise.
Yeah.
Put it that way. You know, so, you know, I do think it's all down to education. You know, people need to learn. Like, say, schools, they don't learn that. They do the opposite. They actually, you know, like me, for instance, you know, when I was at school, they put me in the bottom set.
Yeah.
And that humiliated me big time, you know, and I hated being there. I didn't belong in the world, or felt very uncomfortable. And I know that loads of children feel the same at school, you know.
Yeah.
It's breeding hate. Schools are breeding hate, you know, and they're not teaching compassion or love for some reason, you know. They're not, you know, like for instance, I would have loved it if they had an insect class, you know, an hour where we looked at ants, insects, you know, not kill them.
Yeah.
Or anything, but just sort of study them or something, you know, and, or not put them in the classroom, but just go outside the garden and, you know, learn about them there, you know. And I had a teacher teaching me about insects, you know. I didn't have that. I didn't have insect lessons or animal lessons or nothing. It was all work, if you ask me. And all boring.
Academics.
Well, it's all boring to me, you know. I was an artist. All I wanted to do is art and draw and, you know.
The trouble is with modern day education in general, a lot of education systems, and I might be wrong, it might have changed a bit today, and they might have adapted more today towards individual people, you know. But once upon a time, they had education systems where obviously everyone doesn't learn the same, like you're saying, you know. But obviously the education system and the curriculum that was, you know, obviously formulated by the governments and stuff like this, like, you know, when schools were invented, and, you know, the curriculums they come up with and what they deem to be important for children to learn and be educated about. So yeah, you know.
In Sweden, they got the best education system because they only got, when the children first start school there, it's only 20 hours a week. And then when the next year it goes up to 21 hours a week. But they don't do many hours a week, and the children learn a lot more, and they've got the best education schools in Europe or something in the world.
Okay, that wouldn't surprise me.
There you go, you know. And it's all down to, I mean, our children go to school quite long hours, then they come home and do homework, for goodness sake, you know. It's like...
That used to be hard for me too, right, mate, because, like, I remember, like, when I was going to school, like, the last couple of years of my schooling, right, I'm not going too much off the topic, but last few years of my schooling, where I was living, right? I was living on the other side of the island, so I had to travel a lot. The bus ride, it'd take me a good hour and a half, 2 hours to get to school every day, yeah? So I had to leave at like 6:30 in the morning, get a bus at like 6 o'clock in the morning, get to school for 8, 9, and then by the time I leave school at 3 o'clock, I then got to wait for a bus, and by the time I get home it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it's late already. So imagine then getting home at 6 o'clock, then you've got to sit down and do homework for 2 hours, have a meal,
Yeah.
Try and have some food, have a shower, because obviously it's a hot country. You want to have a shower at least twice a day. You sweat. You might have a shower in the morning if we go to school, but then when you get home
But you
from
can't
school,
really remember seeing your
you're
mum.
sweating. That's what I mean. So then you're hot, and then by the time you've done your homework, had a meal, had a shower, because obviously you're hot and sweaty, you know, because like I said, it's a very hot country. You want to have a shower before you go to bed. It's bedtime, and then 5 days a week you're doing that. It's like you don't really ever see, you just go through a cycle. It's just like
So you finish it.
not even seeing your family, like you said, you're kind of not even seeing your family, and then on the weekends too,
That's right. We have completely been separated, alright?
It's crazy.
We didn't really realise it in a funny way, we'd just been separated and forced to do something that we didn't really want to do in a kind of way.
Yeah.
So I think like children learn if they want to learn, right? And I think the best way to teach children is by fun.
Yeah.
And the way they teach children at schools is not a lot of fun. It's like you're allowed to play now, right, and be yourself for a quarter of an hour. Bell rings, back to work again. Back to what we tell you to do.
Yeah.
And it's like even PE, they were watching you, and if you weren't doing it right, they'd just make you do it.
Yeah.
And it's just like being in the army at an early age almost. They didn't give me guns.
Yeah.
But they might have well have done. Do you know what I mean? I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
It was force. Like I said, just wanted to be home with my mum. For goodness sake,
Yeah.
It's not. I just think that's the problem with the world. That we've been separated, forced to do things that we didn't.
Yeah.
That we'll get into trouble. You didn't take your children to school, you get in trouble.
Yeah, of course. It's still the same principle today.
And it's just like, it's almost like a prison system, if you ask me.
Yeah, system of control.
Even if
it's kind of like they're telling you, like, we kind of own your children to a degree. We own them to a degree. If you don't do this, we're going to imprison you.
Well, sometimes I feel like it's better to be in prison, because you don't pay rent in prison, you don't pay bills, and it's easier in different ways,
Well, but you don't, it depends. There's certain individuals you might not, but that's, that comes with its pros and cons, isn't it? The last place I'd ever want to be is prison. For sure, for certain. To me, that's just a waste of time. You're just wasting time. Because when you come back out, it's like that time that's gone by. I need to. You're starting fresh again. If you go to prison 5-10 years, that's a long time. In this day and age, things change so quickly.
But it depends on your frame of mind and your experience in life, right? But some people can quite enjoy in prison.
Yeah, some people, I know.
It depends on your. Honestly, it depends on your circumstances.
But I don't know why I would never want to be locked up around a bunch of men and being told when I need to wake up, when I need to eat, eating shit food.
Depends what prison you're in.
Being told when you've got to take a shit, being told when you can go to the bathroom, being told when you can go outside for an hour. You might be locked up for 23 hours a day and have 1 hour outside. And then someone, you never know, sometimes prison guards, you hear stories of prison guards coming to work, might be angry from something happened at home and, taking out their frustration on inmates and shit, for looking at them the wrong way or for sometimes no reason at all, because they're just, angry. So that's the last place I want to be, mate. Not only that, but you've got some bloody crazy people in there too that are in there for shit that they really did. You know what I mean? And, you might want to try and do something to you too. So, yeah. Anyway, mate, before we wrap it up and call it a night for this week's episode, all about
love.
All about love. That's it. So important.
Well, just one.
Yeah. But any final words, mate, about love?
Yeah, I'll just sort of say, just remember, really, just try to love yourself a bit more in life.
That's it.
Because that's very important.
That's number one. So
I think it's a little bit of my mistake in my past, that I didn't love myself enough.
Yeah.
Like I said, not my fault. I didn't. My mum separated in that. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't have the greatest upbringing in the world. Whereas some children do have a good upbringing. They're lucky that they got their parents are well off. And their parents were educated properly,
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
And I feel like if every child was loved at school, we had a better schooling system where children were loved and not neglected like they are, yeah, neglected, whatever. Yeah, I think we'd, you know, it'd be a much better world today. Do you know what I mean? If people were taught love, what love is, you know, like material, what, you know, people love materials. If people were taught, like, I mean, when you're loving something, like a gold ring, for instance, and say you loved your gold ring so much, you started looking at it every day of your life. Do you know what I mean? You know, and some people do that in a kind of way. You know, the more you look at your material, the more you dream of your golden ring in a kind of way. You know, in a kind of way. Or you dream of your car that you love. You know.
Yeah.
And they're not even real.
Getting distracted by the wrong things.
You know, I think it's just best to love real things. You see, you know. Where I think, well, that's where animals, all right, animals are very compassionate. And I think actually gorillas themselves, right, they're the most compassionate monkeys of all. Apparently they got more compassion than people. Can you imagine that? They're more caring than people are. You know? Apparently, like, even if you give a gorilla a baby, it would cuddle it. A human baby, that is. They don't hurt it. You think they're a monster, they're gonna, you know, but they're not. They're compassionate. They're quite educated. They're quite intelligent, you know. And I think that's what it is. Like, compassion, it is basically intelligence in a funny way, you know. And like say, a lot of children are not taught it, you know, and it's not their fault they're not taught it. Do you know what I mean? It's the teachers. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't know what's going on here. You know, compassion is so important. You know, I'm learning to. I think you learn as you get older to get more compassionate. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, in 5 years' time, maybe I'm going to be even more compassionate than I am today. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel like I'm getting more compassionate, definitely, as I'm getting older. You know, you're not born with it, and you're not born with empathy. You know, I just feel like that's you know, as you get older, you learn that one. Yeah, it's true. You learn about other people's feelings. You see what I mean?
Being able to relate to people.
Yeah,
for sure. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. We'll be back again next week with a brand new episode, of course, so please stay tuned for that. And yeah, have a good night. God bless. One love, like we're talking about tonight. And yeah.
Love.
That's it. Good night.